Hey, what's going on, you guys? Bring your friends here. This is the Guild Wars 2 Path of Fire beta. I've probably been playing for about a good 5-6 hours to get you the build that you see today. So a couple of problems that I've had along the way were, one, I was forced to use the inspiration tree in order to clear all 800 million Condies that comes my way, and two, when I spec'd into inspiration I didn't really have enough damage. So basically what I did is I used signets. So essentially what you can do now is you're a hybrid Condie build using sword torch staff with double energy, smoldering on the sword torch, and doom on the staff with Carrion and runes of adventure, which give you power, Condie damage, and 50% endurance, which is obviously good for the build because you're evading along with cover casting. Everything you do with distortion or evade you pick. And so in the Mirage tree you have Renew and Oasis. This one's really important with No Man's Endurance, which synergizes quite well with a full shatter build like this one, especially with Signet of Illusions. So every time you shatter you get 3 seconds of vigor, and obviously you're doing that quite a bit, but once you do that, Signet of Illusions, and you get all that endurance back through vigor again. Not to mention all the damage you're doing, which is Torment through Maim the Disillusioned, and Confusion, which is through Illusionary Retribution. So, moving on, Mirage Mantle, which is gain protection whenever you use Mirage Cloak. Obviously you gain regen as well as protection because of Renew and Oasis. Speed of Sand, gain super speed whenever your Mirage Cloak, or whenever you gain Mirage Cloak. Simple enough, you just run super fast for a split second. And then Elusive Mind, which is granting a condition and breaking stun every time you evade. Now, I tried Infinite Horizon, but I came into several problems. One is Infinite Horizon only works with your clones and not your phantasms. So even though it says illusion, it doesn't really mean that. It should just, upgrade or edit the tooltip and say clones only, because that's essentially what it does. And it doesn't really work with this build anyways, because you're using Confounding Suggestion with your sword ambush attack and Mental Anguish, which obviously synergizes good with Confounding, and you do a shit ton of damage during your burst, Blurred Frenzy, Shatter. Also, another thing to take note is that Infinite Horizon is kind of a broken trait anyways, because if it's only your clones, then you're essentially missing out on that much DPS if you use a phantasm. So if you summon a phantasm and then you evade, only your clones are going to do your ambush attack, not the phantasm. So it doesn't really make sense that it's only the clone. Maybe it was just a slip through when they were designing the trait in general, but it just doesn't really work that well. Not to mention, if you're making a clone build with Infinite Horizon, it doesn't really make that much sense to shatter anyways, because you want your clones to be up when you do the ambush attack. So it doesn't really make sense to work with shatter builds, which was one of the problems I had with Infinite Horizon and one of the reasons why I didn't take it. When it comes to Dune Cloak and Sand Shards, it's alright, but I would rather have Elusive Mind, just because obviously there's a little bit of power creep when it comes to the beta. I'm not sure how much they're going to tone down or buff or whatever they're going to do, but it definitely works really well with my build. So essentially you can cover cast anything you want with either evade or your Signet Distortion. So like if you wanted to cast your mage without the possibility of getting interrupted, you can just hit 5 and then hit stun, and then boom. There's no chance of anybody getting in the way of that. Not to mention, there's plenty of ways to cover cast, as I said, anything you want. If you want to use your heal, Signet of Ether, Distortion, heal. Signet of Midnight, which is like so goddamn foolproof now. It's got blind, stealth, distortion, reflection with master fragmentation, and then you can just use the distortion to freely heal and get back another phantasmal mage, which is in turn like the biggest DPS part of this build, like especially combined with the pledge. So for example, let me get out of combat real quick. Out of combat, come on. So for example, without the pledge, you're only doing $29.94, 2 stacks of burning with Carrion. With the pledge, you're doing like almost double that. You're doing 4.5k plus another 3k. It's just crazy how much damage this one thing can give you. Not to mention the fact that it obviously buffs the prestige, and prestige also gives you a Condie clear. So it just has all around Condie clear through the signets, through jaunt, through prestige, through evade. You have plenty of damage through your shatters because of Signet of Illusions. You can just reset and go all over again. Not to mention you're getting a shit ton of vigor. And yeah, it's just an all-around good build, I think. So one of your burst rotations, you're going to be opening up with Phantasmal Mage, then Prestige, into a dodge, into a ambush Mirage thrust, and then once you, that'll be a daze into a stun, and then you'll Blurred Frenzy, Shatter, Cry Frustration, and it'll just be a shit ton of damage. Not to mention the fact that you can use Jaunt in the middle of Blurred Frenzy. So say if you hit Blurred Frenzy, you can actually just teleport straight on top of them with Jaunt for an extra 3 stacks of confusion, which is pretty crazy. So Jaunt's pretty versatile. You can use it to, as I said, very much offensive while you're using Blurred Frenzy. You can use it to get away and clear Condies while you're retreating. It's just really all round a good skill. So let's just target this golem and show you what it can do. So not too bad damage. And I haven't even used Signet of Illusions or anything yet for that matter. Now I was kind of slow on the jaunt, but we'll wait another 8 seconds and do it again. So as I said, just Mage, the Prestige, use a dodge so you can get the Mirage thrust, which makes it into a stun, invisible, and then you do your burst and do fat crits. So yeah, not bad. And not to mention you have Signet the Ether, which obviously if you need it for extra damage through your Warlock or another, 5 burns through the Mage, you can do that. If you run out of shatters, Signet of Illusions, just go crazy. So, but yeah, I just wanted to get this out there to you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. If you have any questions or anything, please feel free to leave something in the comments or on the forums. I'll probably be posting on the SPVP forums. And hopefully you guys enjoy. This is Countless, bring your friends, and I'm out of here. I'll see you guys later.